So is that a computer generated AI harbinger you got there?
I've given up on creating real ones. It's so much easier just to tell the computer what you want. And so
Oh, and what did you do? Say put a little windmill in
how do I get rid
there?
of myself?
Yeah, please. Oh my gosh, I could
Just
have
describe it with words and it's instant, baby. I don't
boom.
need to
Yeah.
have the equipment. I don't need to go out.
Yeah. So, okay, so people, we talked about AI generated images, and your buddy, I think was that Russ?
Russ, yeah.
Yeah. And has he sent you any more?
Yep, I get some new ones. He's experimenting with things that he
Does
thinks will
he
be
does he
popular.
watch our channel?
I don't think so.
Oh. Hey Russ, if you're watching this channel for the first time, welcome. It's about time. All right. So hey, let's talk about prints. You know, we were talking about AI and where that might be going, and you talked about you just say what you want and you get that print. But you know, why do you buy a print? Why does anybody buy a print? I wonder what's happening there. And you know, are we going to see more print sales, less print sales? What's going on with specifically prints and photography?
Well, we know that the world's changing quite a bit in the last 5, 10 years.
Boy, yeah,
Certainly, people looking at images is transition from books to probably social media.
yeah,
But why do people buy prints? I would think the most common reason is they want to decorate their wall.
yeah,
And there's still the same number of walls today as
yeah.
there ever were. So maybe those type of print sales will not be impacted. I don't know.
Mm,
But but when you say why do you buy a print or why do you buy that print? There's there in this office of mine, you guys can't see it. I have only prints from other photographers.
interesting.
Some are purchased, some are ones that have been given to me. But I'm looking at a couple I've purchased. There's one of John Lennon and Ringo Starr at their childhood home, a beautiful black and white print I got in London. Over here is a picture of Edward Weston I bought from Kim Weston because
Oh,
Edward's one of my heroes. There's one of Ansel Adams and Imogen ordaining Jerry Ulsman, a West
really?
photographer, and I got that from Ted Orland, who actually
Wow.
photographed it.
Wow.
And here's one I bought from a local photographer. They're images that I love. Never once have I purchased a print, or nor would I, because I thought it would escalate in value. I would
Huh.
never buy a print of a photographer who is aging, thinking upon his death, it would have a sudden increase in value. I find that obscene personally. And I've often said if anyone ever went to buy one of my prints and said, I might have a conversation and say, well, when you frame that, I'd love a photograph of you and that on the wall. And he responded, well, I'm not going to frame it. I'm going to put it in, well, I've got it this archival drawer where I store my collection of images.
Yeah.
And once they become valuable, then I'll sell it. I wouldn't sell it to the person.
Wow. Yeah.
I just find that obscene. You ought to buy a print because you love it. And as Edward Weston said, photography is the common man's art. It ought to be
Uh,
affordable. So that's
yeah.
what
So
I
it's not like painted art, if you will, you know, that where it might appreciate. But that's interesting too, because even most of the famous artists, they weren't valuable until they died. Yeah.
I
And
would probably say that most of them, right?
yeah, most of them. And probably true with photography too. And how many of those are even of any value? But you're right, there's a guy with a three-letter last name who promotes his prints as they're going to increase in value. And you know, he was called out by the New York Times on all that. And very presumptuous of him to think that his work was so much better than anybody else's that it was going to increase in value just because you paid 5 grand for it to begin with. I mean, it's preposterous. But yeah, I like what you said. You buy prints because there's a connection, there's a meaning. You talk about, you know, Beatles. I mean, you're a huge Beatle fanatic and a Weston fanatic, and so having those are very meaningful for you. I do have one little bit of an issue, As you've never asked for one of my prints to hang in your wall.
I'm just sure it was an oversight, John. Or the email was lost, and you didn't get that.
Yeah, I thought we were going to swap prints one day, and I was going to have one of yours. You already sent me one, but you've yet to ask for. Oh, that's right. I need to have one that you want. Is got it. Okay.
Now, I do have an Ansel Adams print, and I've had people ask me what it's worth, and here's what I tell them: it's worth nothing because I won't sell it.
Right. Ever.
Yeah, because it has meaning to me. Not just that it's Ansel Adams, but how I got it, my interaction with Ansel.
Mhm.
So it has meaning to me.
You got that one hot off the press, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Because you were on a press run up in Canada or something,
No,
weren't
no,
you?
no. In Fullerton, California,
Fullerton. Okay.
at the
Got it.
printer who did all of the work for Ansel. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So these images have meaning to me, and I wouldn't get rid of them. And I didn't choose them because they would appreciate. I chose them because I love them.
Yeah. So we're interested. Comments as usual. I mean, that really makes it more fun. Do you buy prints and why do you buy prints? You know,
Yeah.
yeah. And why
And
haven't why haven't you bought one of mine and Kohl's?
a lot of people, I would say that 90% of my sales go to other photographers, which is nice in a way, but it makes me sad that I can't reach beyond the
Yeah.
photographer
Boy, but
market.
how do you do that?
Well, I think it would take a lot of work. You have to maybe get a rep. You have to get into with some designers, and
Yeah.
my love isn't selling. My
All
love is
that stuff.
creating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty, bud. As usual, appreciate being with you. And until the next couple of minutes.